How is your if we are single by 30, we're getting married friend doing? Had a married at 40 option. Lost contact with her for a few years and had started to rebuild our friendship. She'd got married and moved away, but was in the process of splitting up and remembering her old life. Had arranged to go and see her in her new flat, big night out planned. But then contact suddenly stopped again. Found out about 6 months later that she'd had a car crash and died instantly. Husband hadn't told any of her old friends what had happened. She was the first one from our friend group that had died. It hit hard. Still think of her often, and the mischief we got up to in our late teens. Not me, but I have a former coworker that made that pact with his senior high school prom date. Lost touch for 7 or so years. Reconnected at the 10-year high school reunion. Got married 2 years later. Now 2 kids with a third on the way and very happy. It was cool to watch the majority of that story go down. With us, it was, if we are still single at 65, let's just move in together. At least we like each other. We met first year at university and had been close friends ever since. She died of breast cancer at 63. Miss her every day. This is actually my time to shine. I met Lisa when I was in high school through a mutual friend. Lisa lived about 4 hours, but we kept in touch by writing letters. This was in the 1980s. We met up for a spring break trip at the beach and got along well since we hadn't seen each other in several years. We both went to different colleges and dated on and off some during our college years. After college, we dated. Then she went to Germany for 3 years. We'd see each other casually when she'd come home, but nothing serious. When she came back home from Germany, we started seeing each other again. We made a pact that if we were not married by 30, we'd get married. We drifted apart a bit at 29 years old, and we were both dating other people. She ended up marrying the person she was dating, and I ended up marrying the person I was dating. We both went to each other's weddings with our respective SOs. We'd meet as couples and go to dinner sometimes and once vacation together for a long weekend. Our kids went to the same school for a while, too. Then we lost touch for about 5 years, until one day I ran into Lisa at a local Starbucks. I heard someone call my name, and it was Lisa. We hugged and caught up for a while. I then asked her how her husband was doing, and she said they split up about a year ago. She asked about my wife, and I told her we split about 10 months ago. We looked at each other, and I asked her if she'd meet me for coffee the next day, and she immediately said yes. We dated for several years and got married in December 2021. She's been living a wild life. We made the pact at 22, she got married by 24, divorced by 25, new relationship, and got pregnant at 26, married at 28, and divorced at 30. In that time, she dropped out of college, went back to college, completed her associates, got nailed for a few drug charges, and is currently fighting for custody of her kid with the dad. This actually did happen for a friend of mine and his wife, but it was more of a conversation along the lines of, hey, remember that pact we made when we were 18 about getting married at 30 if we were both single? Well, we are now 30 and single. Did you want to give dating a shot? 5 years later, and they are now happily married. I have no idea why they didn't give dating a shot years before, but that's none of my business. We both got married before 30 to other people. She married a cool dude and had 4 kids. They had a beautiful family, and so do I. I was genuinely happy for her and glad we didn't end up with each other. She died of cancer a few years ago when her youngest kid was still in elementary school. My heart breaks for her and her family. I feel closer to them than they realize because I knew her since middle school. I think of them often and hope they are finding peace and happiness in this crazy life. She's married to my good friend, but things are rocky. I just got divorced, so maybe we'll revisit this in our 40s? Just kidding. Edit. Thanks for the love. I actually just saw my good friend last week. That's when he shared they had discussed the D word and that he cheated on her once. I said if he wanted to keep her, don't ever tell her about that and don't do it again. Also, he may want to cut down on drinking. She's also a good friend of mine, so I know that's one of her gripes. I really don't want them to split because I'm so proud of them. I kissed her this morning when I was leaving for work. We get married in 3 days. No joke. Made the pact. Reconnected in person after a few years on my 31st birthday, which is 3 days before her 30th. We went out for a date, and we haven't spent a night apart since. And in 3 days, we say the ol' I do's. Edit, obligatory wow, this blew up. Thank you all for the kind words and the awards. I'm going to show my fiancé this later after work. She'll love it. Wedding is in 2 days. We made the pact at 15 as a joke. We finished high school, college, and moved into early adulthood while he dated other people. I was single until 23 when I met my match, who I'm still with to this day. This year, he broke up with his girlfriend because he said he loved me and couldn't be friends anymore because it was too hard for him. It sucks, but I wish him the best. Had a married at 40 option, lost contact with her for a few years, and had started to rebuild our friendship. She'd got married and moved away, but was in the process of splitting up and remembering her old life. Had arranged to go and see her in her new flat, big night out planned, but then contact suddenly stopped again. Found out about 6 months later that she'd had a car crash and died instantly. Her husband hadn't told any of her old friends what had happened. She was the first one from our friend group that had died. It hit hard. Still think of her often and the mischief we got up to in our late teens. I had a friend in high school that told me we should make a marriage pact. If we weren't married by 30, we'd get married. I lost contact with her after high school because she had a scary, jealous boyfriend. She randomly added me on Facebook and asked for my phone number. I didn't think it was a big deal, so I sent it. She sent me a very graphic photo of herself and said, "Hey, it's me, Creasy." And I was like, hot damn. We talked for a bit that day, but that was our only real conversation. She had brought up our pact, and we joked about it for a bit. A few months later, she messaged me asking if she can use my shower because her water got shut off. I thought that was unusual, so I just told her it wasn't a good time. That's happened to me before, and I'd normally message a family member or close friend. A couple days later, she posted a video of her and some dude, not her old boyfriend, smoking under a freeway overpass. She had a bandana on her face, and they filmed themselves smoking head banging to music, thinking they looked badass. I felt really bad for her at that point. Then I wondered if I had let her use my shower, if she would have robbed me with her cholo-looking boyfriend. Not too long after that, her boyfriend started posting online that she was missing and he can't locate her. 2 weeks after that, he changed his status to single on Facebook, and I still haven't heard from my childhood friend. I hope she's okay out there. Really hope she can get her shit together and get clean.